Once upon a time, long ago in the misty past, there was a mountain that whispered. Now, this was no ordinary mountain. It was a magical mountain, and it was said to hold secrets that could change your life forever. So travelers from all around the world came to this mountain, hoping to learn its secrets and take that knowledge back with them. Some were rich merchants hoping to grow their wealth beyond measure. Some were young nobles hoping for power to shake the world. Some were famous actors hoping for even greater fame. But as they reached the top of the mountain, they shouted their desires into the wind, and the mountain stayed silent. It didn't give them anything. Then one day, a poor shepherd boy heard about the mountain. He had little to lose. He wasn't rich or famous. In fact, he was quite poor, but he did have one thing that nobody could take away from him, and that was his curiosity. So he started climbing the mountain slowly. And as he climbed, he sang to himself, "Oh, I wish I could be rich and famous. Oh, I wish I could be powerful and strong. Oh, I wish I could stay young forever." But then he stopped. And as he stood there, the wind seemed to calm and the clouds parted, revealing a clear blue sky above him. And that's when he realized that maybe what he really wanted wasn't any of those things. Maybe what he really wanted was just to understand the world a little better. So he continued his journey up the mountain until finally he reached the top. There he sat down on a big rock and closed his eyes, thinking about everything he'd seen and experienced in his life. He thought about the good times and the bad times and all the lessons he'd learned along the way. And as he sat there, he whispered his fears to the mountain. "I am small," he said. "I am afraid. I don't know if I matter." When he finished speaking, the mountain rumbled softly and said, "Even the smallest stone shapes the path. Even the quietest voice can carry far." Then the mountain went silent again, and the boy climbed back down. As he made his way back down the mountain, he felt different somehow. He didn't have any gold or crown. In fact, he had nothing to show for his efforts except a strange sense of peace that settled over him like a warm blanket. But as he walked, he noticed that the path ahead of him seemed clearer than before. He could see the challenges he faced more clearly now, but he also knew that he could overcome them. He could see the possibilities that lay ahead of him, and he felt a surge of hope that he'd never felt before. And so the mountain taught the world that day that wisdom doesn't answer pride, but humility. You see, the mountain was a symbol of wisdom, and wisdom doesn't come to those who think they already know everything. It comes to those who are humble enough to listen and learn. Now, you might be thinking that the mountain should have given everyone what they asked for, right? After all, they were all climbing the same mountain, and they all wanted something from it. But that's not how the mountain worked. You see, the mountain was like a mirror, and it reflected back to you whatever you brought to it. The rich people who climbed the mountain only thought about themselves and their own desires. They didn't care about anyone else or anything else. And so the mountain didn't give them anything. It didn't answer their questions because it knew that they weren't ready to hear the answers. But the shepherd boy was different. He wasn't perfect, of course. He had his own fears and insecurities, but he was humble enough to admit them and to ask for help. He was curious about the world, and he wanted to understand it better. And so the mountain gave him what he asked for, not gold or power or fame, but wisdom. You see, sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't the ones we think we want. They're the ones we need, and the mountain knew that what the boy really needed was wisdom, not gold. Now, after the boy came down the mountain, he didn't keep the wisdom to himself. No, he shared it with everyone in his village. He helped them to see the possibilities that lay ahead of them and to overcome the challenges they faced. And because of his wisdom, the whole village flourished. They became known throughout the land for their strength and their resilience, and it was all because one shepherd boy had climbed a mountain and listened to its secrets. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, the mountain kept on whispering, and its whispers carried far and wide. They reached the ears of kings and queens, of scholars and saints, of heroes and villains. And each person who heard the whispers had a choice to make. They could choose to ignore them, or they could choose to follow them. And those who followed the mountainess wisdom found that it led them to places they never imagined possible. There's an important lesson here, my friends. No matter who you are or where you come from, you can find wisdom if you're willing to seek it out. You see, the mountain doesn't care about your social status or your wealth or your fame. It doesn't care if you're a king or a pauper. If you're willing to climb the mountain and listen to its secrets, it will share its wisdom with you. But you have to be humble enough to receive it. You have to be willing to change and grow. And you have to be prepared to share that wisdom with others. It's not easy, of course. Climbing a mountain is never easy. And the higher you climb, the harder it gets. But the rewards are worth it, my friends. The view from the top of the mountain is always breathtaking. And the wisdom you find there can change your life forever. Now, I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Are you like the rich people who climbed the mountain and got nothing? Or are you more like the shepherd boy who found wisdom at the top? If you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that you're a bit of both. We all have our moments of pride and arrogance. We all think we know everything sometimes, but we also have moments of humility and wisdom. It's up to us to choose which path we want to follow. Remember the words of the mountain, my friends. Wisdom doesn't answer pride, but humility. If you want wisdom, if you want to change your life, then be humble. Be willing to learn, be open to new ideas, and never, ever give up. Thank you for listening to my story today. And may the mountain's wisdom guide you on your own journey through life. Until next time.